Hi everyone, my name is Ditesh and welcome to the part 2 of Power BI tutorial. We already discussed about Power BI in our previous video. Working with Power BI Desktop involves three steps: building model and developing reports, publishing to the workspace, and sharing with the users. In today's session, we are going to discuss all these topics. So as a prerequisite, please install the Power BI Desktop and also get access to the sample adventure work sales dataset. So I'll place the link in the description. So we are going to cover the following topics: preparing the data with few transformations, building a report with a title, three visuals and a slicer, and publishing the report to the Power BI service. So at the end of the session, you should be able to answer the following question: which day had the most sales in February 2019? Which country is the company seeing the most success? Which product category and reseller business type should the company continue to invest in? So having said that, let's quickly jump into Power BI Desktop and then start building our report. So here is the Power BI Desktop. And if you notice here under the fields, we don't have any tables. So now what we are going to do is import the data and prepare our data for our report. So under the Home tab, click on Excel Workbook and then select the Adventure Work Sales, which we just downloaded. It will open up a new window and then we are going to select all the tables which we need. So select customer, date, product, reseller, sales, sales order, and sales territory. So before we load the data, let's do some transformation. So it will open up a new query editor. And in this query editor window, we are going to make sure we have the data type for all the fields in the right format. So we need to have the old number for all the keys. So we have various keys in different tables. So we need to make sure we have the old number. So as you can see here, we have the old number. So the other way to do the same thing is you can select all the columns and then under the transform tab, click on detect data type. So Power BI will decide the best data type for each fields. And then let's go to the date. And then we need to do the same thing for product. So we have the old number, so I'm not going to do anything here. Reseller, reseller key, it looks like a old number, so it's fine. And then under sales, we have various keys. Sales order line, again, it's a whole number. Reseller key, it's a whole number. So we need to do the same checks for all the keys, what is available in this sheet. So, and if you notice here, we have the unit price. So it's in a decimal number. So we need to check for other columns as well. And order quantity, and again, it's a whole number. So let's go to the next table, that is sales order. And let's check the sales order line key, and it's a whole number. Same thing goes for the other table, sales territory. So once we have all this ready, we can simply click on close and apply. It'll take a while to load. And once we have this data loaded into the model, we'll go to the model and create some relationship. The data which we loaded is ready for reporting. Let's inspect the model and make changes. Click on the model view on the left. You should be able to see a screen something like this, with each table inside a box. This model is a star schema. It resembles a star. The center of the star is the fact table. Surrounding tables are the dimension tables. Fact table contains numerical information about sales transactions such as sales amount and products, standard cost, etc. Dimensions provide context to analyze what product was sold to which customer, by which reseller, and which sales territory. If you notice closely, all the dimension tables are related to fact except for dates. So what we are going to do is drag the date key from the date table to order date key on the sales. So click on the date key and place it on the order date key. So we created a relation so called as one to many from date to sales, indicated by one and asterisk. That is one to many relationship. The relationship is one to many because we have one or more sales order for a given date. Assume that if we had only one sales order, the relationship would be one to one. The little arrow here indicates the cross filtering direction. It indicates that we can use values from date table to filter the sales table, so we can analyze when a sales order was placed. If you notice all of these tables, there are various keys in each of these tables. Example, sales territory key, sales order line key, customer key. We don't need all these keys in our final report. So we can hide them. So what I'm gonna do is select this and then click on it. So now it's hidden in our report. So do the same thing for all the keys in each of these tables. Once we hide all of them, it should look something like this. Now let's proceed to the next step. Now our data model is easier to consume because of the hidden columns. We can add a few hierarchies to make the model even easier to use. Hierarchies enable easier navigation of grouping. For example, I'm going to create a new hierarchy, which is called as geography. So I'm going to click on the customer table, and then let me click on the lowest granular. So that is customer, and then select create hierarchy. It will take a while. Here, I'm going to name this as geography. Let's add few more fields into this hierarchy. We need country, state, city, postal code. So we need country, city, country, city, state, and then we need postal code, and then we need the customer. So we can arrange this in a proper order. So country region at the top, followed by state and province, and then we need the city, postal code, and customer. So click on apply level changes. I notice here this all the fields will now come under the hierarchy geography. So if I expand this, you can see all the fields. So it's easier for us to navigate. So we'll do the same thing for the other tables as well. For the dates, let's do, we need year, quarter, and month and date. So expand this. Let me click on the date, and then I'll name this hierarchy as date or fiscal. Let me name this as fiscal. And then let's add the other fields as well. So we need the fiscal year, fiscal quarter. Okay, I need to add it here. Fiscal year, fiscal quarter, and then we also need month and date. Month and the date, we have it here already. So we have all the four fields. So let's arrange this in hierarchy. So year being at the top, followed by quarter, then month and date. So apply level changes. So we need to do the same thing for other tables. So we have the products. So we need to create products hierarchy. So let's expand this table. Under the product hierarchy, we should have category, subcategory, model, and product. So I click create hierarchy. So let's name this as products. And then we already have product. So the next one is we need to have category, subcategory, and model. Let me select category. Subcategory, and then model. So let's arrange it. So category being at the top, followed by subcategory, model, and then product, and apply level changes. Let's do the same thing for reseller. So collapse this, reseller. So under reseller, we have the reseller at the bottom. So we need to select this, create hierarchy. I'm going to name this as geography. And then let me add the country, state, province, city, postal code. Yeah, we have everything. So we need to have country region at the top, followed by state and province, followed by city and postal code. Let's bring the reseller to the bottom. So apply level changes. And the next one is sales orders. So again, let's click on the lowest level, that is sales order, create hierarchy. Let's rename this as sales order. And then here, add one more level, that is channel. Okay, let's do sales orders. And then select channel. So let's move the channel to the top. Sales order. We don't need sales channel. We need actually sales order line. Apply level changes. And then the last one is from sales territory. We need group, country, and region. Let me click on region, create hierarchy. Let me rename this as sales territories. And then here, let's add the country and group. Country and then group. So let me move this group to the top, followed by country and then region. So apply level changes. So now if you notice your data model, so all the fields remain as it is. However, but each dimension table contains a hierarchy. Example, let's see this. So we have a hierarchy. Again, you can see here, same with this table and customer and sales order. So all the dimension table have a hierarchy. So now let's do some more changes to our model and finish it off. So let me rename the sales territory, rename. Let's give a space here. And then let's do the same thing for sales order table as well. Click on this, rename, sales order, and hit enter. This step is necessary because Excel table names can't contain spaces. So now our model is ready for final consumption. Now let's quickly go to the data view tab and then create a basic measure that will calculate the sales amount by due date on the sales order instead of the default order date. So let me rename the measure Let's call this as amount by due date. Amount by due date equal to calculate sum of sales amount and then use relationship. So we need to use the date uh, table and use the date key. At the same time, use the due date key from the sales table. So column name, due date key from the sales table, and then date key from the dates table. So close the parenthesis and hit enter. So this should be available for us now to create the report. So now let's go ahead to the report tab and then start building the report. We are in the reports tab. So before we start, let me check if we have the grid lines on. So I'll turn it on and then insert a text box. Resize a bit. Let me name this as executive summary sales report. Bring this to the center. Increase the font size to 16. Do some formatting under the properties. Effects. Change the background color to a lighter shade. And then let me change the font color to white. So we have the first visual. So now let me drag and drop the sales amount to the blank space here. So by default, it will create a clustered column chart. Let me resize this a bit so that we have enough space for other visual. And then we also have the amount by due date. So let me drag this here. And now I will also need the fiscal year. I'll drag the hierarchy which we created. And now I'll change this to a area chart. And under the fiscal, I don't need the year and quarter. So let me remove this and then change the color to a contrasting one. So under the lines, we have the colors, change this to red. So now we have the first visual. So now let me create a second visual. Add insert map, resize a bit. Drag it, give some space here. And then we need to bring the quantity from the sales table. So where do we have quantity? Yeah, it's here. And then from the reseller table, let's bring the country region. So we have this. Now let's create the third visual. So again, I'm gonna drag and drop the sales amount from the sales table to the blank area. And then from the product table, I need the category. And then from the reseller table, I need the business type. So in the filters, so business type, I'm going to uncheck the not applicable and then arrange this a bit. And change this to a matrix. So I don't need this business type in the rows column. So I'm going to drag this and drop in to the rows. And now I'll expand this all down one level in the hierarchy. So if you notice here, clearly the category bikes has the highest number of sales and the value added reseller is the top seller. Let me increase this a bit so that it fits within the visual. So I don't want the slider, so bring it down. And then under the format visual cell elements, I'll turn on the data bars. So it's too bright, so I'm gonna change this to a less brighter color. So this should be okay. Click on OK, and we have the fourth visual. So now let's go ahead and create the fifth visual, that is slicer. So it's perfectly fitting the space here. Let me drag and drop the fiscal. So I see some blanks. Let me remove the blanks. Okay. I don't need the quarter. And I think I don't need the date as well. Okay, fiscal year end month should be fine. So now let's do some more cosmetic changes. So first let's change the titles. Under the format tab, general, title, sales amount, by, order date, and due date. So we increase the font size a bit, 16. And then let's give some more effects. Turn the shadow on. So same thing with this one. Let me turn the shadow on. Change the title to order quantity by, reseller, country. Increase the font size a bit. Okay, so we are good. Let's do the same thing here. General, effects, shadow on, title, turn it on, increase it to 16, and let's give a title, sales amount by product. Category and reseller business type. Reseller business type. So now we are almost done with all the changes. And now let's save this report. So I don't need the slider, so let me increase a bit. So turn off the grid lines and see if everything looks good or not. So once, if you're okay with this report, let's go ahead and save this report. If you remember, there were like 3 questions which the manager asked, right? Which day had the most sales in February 2019? Which countries the company is seeing the most success? Which product category and reseller business type should the company continue to invest in? So with the help of this report, you should be able to answer all the questions. So please leave a comment with your answers. So we have one last step, right? Publishing the report. So let's go ahead and publish the report. To publish the report, you need to have an active Power BI account and make sure you are logged in. Under the Home tab, click on Publish and select your workspace and then click OK. So now, as you can see, it's publishing the report into Power BI workspace. It will take a while, and once you have this ready, you can simply open the browser and then open your workspace, and you should be able to see the report. You will see a message saying publishing to Power BI is success. Now you can open this report in browser. So when you open in the browser, you should be able to see the screen something like this. Now you can simply share with your colleagues by clicking on the share button and then entering the email and then clicking on send. So this is how we publish and share the report with the other users. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you have any questions or doubts, please drop me a note in the comment section and I'm going to revert back to you. And thanks for watching.